Well, my daughter Sophie recently told me a tender story about her last day of high school, now 16 years later. She had attended her small Waldorf school since 5th grade, and she and her classmates had formed a close community of friendships over the years. It was the practice in the Waldorf schools for each class to rise together each morning to say their morning verse before starting their coursework. I guess that's substituted for Pledge of Allegiance. On this final day of school, they rose to repeat the words which they had spoken in chorus each morning for the past 8 years. Here's how it goes. I look into the world in which the sun is shining, in which the stars are sparkling, in which the stones repose. The plants they live and grow, the beasts they feel and live, and the human within our soul gives dwelling to the spirit. I look into the soul that lives within myself. The Spirit of God, it weaves in sunlight and in soul light, in cosmic space without, in depths of soul within. Well, right there, the students became aware that at this time would be the last time they would speak these words together. Many eyes started to water and a few broke into tears. They had a hard time saying the final words aloud. To thee, O Spirit of God, I seeking turn myself, that strength and grace and skill for learning and for work may ever grow within me. Well, no doubt this group of little scruffly kiddos who still hang out together even today and with their own children. No doubt, though, during their adolescent years, some of the kids had poked fun at the morning verse, may have even rolled their eyes or resented saying it for a time, and certainly they spoke the verse for many years before they could possibly understand the full impact of its meaning on their lives. But now their voices cracked with the realization that the gentle rhythms of the past years and the supportive community in which they had lived and grown together were coming to an end. On this last day, the morning verse, M-O-R-N-I-N-G, became a mourning verse, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. It became a tear-filled goodbye. Well, as we get older, we recognize how much of our lives we spend watching things come to an end and saying goodbye. Goodbyes take many forms. There are the sentimental and sweet goodbyes, like those we say when we hug our families and friends at the airport as they leave or return home after a visit, or those we call out to our child from the car window as we drop him or her off at summer camp. There are more difficult ones, like driving away from the college campus as we leave our now grown son or daughter and head back to an emptier house, or saying goodbye to our soldier husband or wife, son or daughter, brother or sister as they are deployed overseas. And there are almost intolerable goodbyes, like those at the graveside of a loved one who has just been laid to rest. Many of us experienced this just a couple of days ago as we bid Jerry Anderson goodbye. Goodbye, like most things in life, can be done either well or poorly. Done well, goodbyes take the necessary time to both treasure the past and to embrace the future. Our goodbyes can be rituals of resurrection, which powerfully transform a physical presence into soulful memory. Too often, we fall victim to the crazy pace and the emptiness of the current high-tech world's relationship to time. We talked about that in Sunday school, didn't we? Part of the reason that we feel we must do more, and faster is that we cannot trust that anything out of our past experience will be long-lasting. We live as though life disappears once it happens. Constant movement forward in linear time is a desperate attempt by the ego to get what it can out of the moment, believing that as soon as the moment is past, poof, it disappears forever. when all that we believe to be real is the desperate, frenzied present moment butting up against a vacant future, our emptiness provokes intense activity in an effort to try to make meaning instead of to quietly discover it. If we do not have the capacity or find no value in time spent reflecting on the past, we will begin to lead a tragically forgetful life. That's why I'm so glad when you remember your mom with us, Johnny. We must dwell on what is being resurrected from the past in order to sense the soulful quality of memory. This soulful quality of memory can infuse our present lives, quieting us to live more joyfully and assuredly into the future. Think for a moment of an important goodbye in your own life. It might be 40 or 50 years ago, but even so, its image has visited you over and over again. It has remained with you, vividly etched on your very soul, a part of who you are and who you will become. The list of people and treasured aspects of our lives to whom and to which we must say our final goodbyes is long, but within it are surely these: beloved family members and friends, public figures that have influenced our life greatly, outgrown or changed images of ourselves. Oh my goodness, there's a 70-year-old woman looking back at me. Our pets, our homes, our workplace, our failed relationships, perhaps even our marriage, our physical health, our mobility, our independence, and finally, life itself. When we say our final goodbyes, we often assume that we have come to an irretrievable and heartbreaking ending. We have the feeling that this end, this letting go, diminishes us immeasurably, leaves us alone in the dark shadow of loss. Today's gospel story is a familiar one. We find Jesus openly telling his followers what soon will happen to him. He will be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes. He will be killed and after 3 days rise again. But Peter can't tolerate what Jesus is saying. Can't you just hear Peter speaking and hear something of your own style in his supposed encouragement? No, Jesus, we won't allow this to happen. We'll protect you. We'll overcome the obstacles. We'll stand together. And Jesus becomes strangely angry at him. I remember as a child reading this and thinking, chill out, Jesus. Jesus became strangely angry with Peter in this moment. Get behind me, Satan, are pretty harsh words. When we suffer our goodbyes, we are forced to loosen our tight hold on the material, corporeal world. It can be painful and confusing and frightening for us, as it was for Peter. But goodbyes are also paradoxical and powerful blessings. A goodbye can be the resurrecting ritual transforming a physical presence into a soulful presence. I remember when my father died, I couldn't stand it. And Steve said, he'll be there with you even more than he ever was, my husband. He'll be there. You just wait, he'll be with you. It's a threshold into the beginning of a new kind of relationship, which arises out of a past one. For Peter, as for most of us, we feel we have but two choices as we face painful endings: either to deny them, resist them, and belligerently try to hold on, or to just walk away deeply grieved by our loss and determined to fill the gaping hole that's been left in our life. Jesus says to Peter, and by extension to all of us, you've missed something very important. You have set your mind not on divine things, but on human things. There truly is such a thing as transformation from one form of being to another. And as we know, Jesus' final goodbye to all who loved him was this. Can you think of the words? Lo, I am with you always. In the book Greeting the Angels, the author, Greg Mogensen, tests our faith in the invisible world of the Spirit and offers deep solace to those who can open their hearts to receive the truth of his understandings. It's a little bit long, but it's really good. Listen, from the imaginal point of view, the end of life is not the end of soul. The images continue. Deep inside the grief of the bereaved, the dead are at work, making themselves into religion and culture around us, imagining themselves into soul. Though the graveside would seem to be a place where we let go of the dead, it's also the place where we greet them again as angels. By returning to us in our dreams and fantasies, the dead assert their lasting values. Despite the fact that they are gone, they continue to be the assumptions which underpin our lives. We cannot continue to know our own minds without continuing to have access to their images. The psyche is created in large measure by the mourning process. The more precisely we imagine our losses, the more psychological we become. We are the afterworld in which our loved ones dwell, even as they are the cultural atmosphere in which we have our being. It is not simply that they live on in us, we live on in them. Our goodbyes have a transforming and lasting impact on our lives, bringing us a greater capacity for spiritual understanding. They cannot be eluded. Partings and final partings will come. If our farewells are embraced and given voice in our lives, they can bring, along with their pain, a mysterious comfort and peace. Souls which have somehow been brought together in this wide world are connected beyond their physical existence. And Lent is a good time to reflect on the profound mystery of our connectedness to each other and to God. For lo, the spirits of those whose lives have been shared are with us always, even to the end of the age. Amen.